Carts, good to be catching up again. All of our games for 2022 are done now. How do you reflect on our start to the season?
I think we've shown some very, very good phases, some really, really good moments. Been pleased with the majority of it and the way that the players have approached it. Coming into the season, we knew that there'd be a shift in mentality coming into the Championship, and from having been a team for the last few seasons fighting against relegation, not winning a massive amount of games, to then switch it and there's a bit more expectancy on you to go and win games. It does take a little bit of a shift, and you do have to switch it up mentally. So the players have been fantastic with that, and I think if you'd asked me honestly at the start of the season, would we have some teething problems along the way, as much as you want it to be a smooth process, you're always going to have to sort of go through moments and that little bit of adversity which we've had. But I think it's prepared us well, and we've grown as a group because of it, and I feel we're in a really good place now going into the new year.
And despite those teething problems that you just mentioned there at the start, we've won back-to-back games in the league now. We're really starting to show what the identity of what you want us to play like. It must be positive for you that going into the new year, we're still in a relatively good position to push and fight for our aim of promotion.
Yeah, I think it was vitally important that we finished the league campaign strong, and as you mentioned, two very tough games, Bristol City and Blackburn away. On paper are very, very difficult games, and I thought the way we handled both of them, different approaches. Bristol City obviously were unbeaten, to go there and put on a fantastic display in and out of possession. It was a different type of game for us at Blackburn, but managing the game as well as we did. So 3 points, 2 clean sheets away from home, especially with given our inconsistency on the road, I think was big for us and big for our confidence. And you can see that what the players took from that, and that is the big thing for us. I've been harping on about it all. First half of the season is that consistency level, finding that balance. As I say, we've had more very good moments than we have not so good moments. So it's just now eradicating and tidying up on the little details that have cost us in certain games.
And despite our away form at the start of the season, winning those 2 games is massive for confidence when we go into the new year and the games that we've got coming up as well.
Yeah, it feels that obviously for other reasons we've played more away games, so we're going to have bulk of home games coming up in the new year, so that'll be good because of our home form. But I think it's just kind of now everybody in the league has got a feel for each other, and you've experienced what strengths other teams have got, and I think that the Championship, speaking to a lot of people who have been around this league a lot longer than I have said it's the most competitive they've ever seen. And I think you could probably say there's 5 or 6 teams who will be sitting there looking at it going into the new year that will fancy their chances at contending. So it's just vitally important from our perspective now is that we keep continuing to focus on what we're doing and get better day by day, game by game, week by week, and play to our strengths. We feel we've got a lot of strengths within the team, within the squad. It's utilising that, bringing the confidence for the players to believe in that, believe in themselves. And if we do that, we'll give ourselves a really good chance.
And if we just reflect on the game before the Christmas break, it was a disappointing result and performance. What was your message to the players over the Christmas period?
I think it was a good time for us to sort of step away and reflect on the first half of the season. There had been an awful lot of information thrown at the players, and obviously it was a relatively new group as well, a lot of new players coming in, and again we're talking about we're switching and tweaking the way we want to play, the style of play. So they've had to absorb a lot from myself and Joe and Tony and over the weeks, and when you're in it and the games are coming thick and fast, it's hard sometimes to step away and actually review what you've done. So the message to them was to review their own personal performance and where they feel they are, and but also then what is their role within this team, within this squad. What can they bring? What are their strengths? What's going to help us win? So the challenge then is to come back with an attitude and a focus to want to get better. And they're a great group. They're fantastic to work with. It's just instilling them with that confidence and believe that they are very, they've got a high ceiling, which I keep saying to them, and it's just about us striving to hit that.
And a big confidence boost for the team will be the returns of the likes of Molly Green, Martha Harris, who are close to making their comebacks. How big of a boost will that be heading into 2023?
Yeah, I think especially Martha will be like having a new signing again, and her presence at the start of the season when she came in, and you can just see the influence she had straight away. She fitted in seamlessly, and to lose her so early on was a big blow for us. And then you look at Molly as well. Molly came into the team, and having her unavailable has been a blow for us. So it's nice that the break has allowed them two in particular to up their rehab and get them back within range of the team. But yeah, I think if I'm being honest, we've been probably fortunate on the injury front. We haven't had to deal with 4 or 5 or 6 players being out. But like any season, you're always going to be dealt that blow at some stage, and it's how you adapt, and that's why we went after the players we did in the summer, and the squad. Myself and Joe built the squad that we felt we needed to help in moments like that when you're missing key players.
And you mentioned it there, like we have got a lot of versatile players. Jamie Finn's filled in at right wing back. Harriet Scott can play there, can also play at centre half. How important is that in a division like the Championship?
Yeah, I think that's one thing we wanted to be this year, was adaptable as well. You don't want to just have one way of playing or one system. I think it's always good to be interchangeable and keep opposition guessing, and within that you need your players like your Jamie Finns who can operate in 1, 2, 3 multiple positions. I know it's not always the nicest for them. They want to get a rhythm in one position, but I always say it's a compliment. Me being a left-footed player myself through my career, I found myself in all varying positions down the left-hand side, and sometimes I always wanted to play centrally. So I understand it can be for players sometimes moving about, but ultimately it's because you trust them. And when you've got players like that you can trust to fill in and do a job for the team, for a manager, it's great to have at your disposal.
And this season we've kept 4 clean sheets, and of course some fantastic performances from Lucy Thomas as well. How important is it that we have that solid defensive unit?
Vital. I think it's no secret, is it, that if you can build a solid foundation defensively, and again you have trust in your back unit, your goalkeeper, your defenders, and take a pride in keeping clean sheets, and that's one thing that the team showed towards the back end of last season, was a real resilience to keep that ball out of the net, and you've seen it this year as well. Bristol City being probably the case in point. Last half an hour of that game where you expected them to come at us, and they did throw everything at us, and there was bodies on the line, but there was a real determination to keep the ball out of the net. And if they do breach your back line, you've got someone like Lucy Thomas who can pull out a vital save for you. So vitally important, and they will are the bedrock of the team. They allow us then to go the other way and be a threat and use our threats in the attacking half.
And just on an individual level, Siobhan Wilson joined the club in the summer and has settled seamlessly into the team and at the club. Goals, assists, you must be pleased with her contributions so far.
Yeah, I think Shiv, she brings her personality, she brings her energy, and when you meet her for the first time, that just comes across straight away, and her undoubted talent is there. That's the reason that I was so keen for her to join us in the summer. And yeah, I think she's just excelled, and the one thing with Shiv is I still feel like there's more to come from her, which is frightening really, because she's producing high consistent performances already. So yeah, to have her and give us that balance on that left hand side as well, and she's worked really hard at going both ways. She is more of a front foot attacking wing back, if you like, but she's really worked hard on the defensive side as well, which, when you've got players who are very good going forward, that's always the one thing you look at. Are they going to do the work defensively? But she certainly does. So delighted with how she settled in, and the main thing is that she's enjoying the football, which I think she is.
And just finally, a word on the fans. I mean, immediately I'm drawn to the noise when Lucy Quinn's winner goes in against Sheffield United, but also away from home as well. We've had really good followings. How important will their support be to the side going into the new year?
It's vital, and I think for any team, if you've got the support of the fans, at home but on the road as well, it gives you that bit of momentum, that extra edge. And you've seen now crowds are growing within the women's game, and this team and this club has been one of the founders. So we want to make them proud, and we want to get this team back to where we feel it deserves to be, and we're only going to do that with their help. So they've been great and have stuck with us. I know how difficult it was in the summer, coming down into the Championship after being in the WSL for so long. So my driving force this year was to push this team back to where we want it to be, where they want it to be, but it will be together, that's for sure.
Carts, thanks for your time.
Thank you.